Welcome. Let yourself settle deeply now, sinking into a cozy place where the day's worries begin to melt away. Feel the gentle weight of your body against your bed or chair. The soft whisper of the air around you, a slow, calming breath in and out, softening every muscle, loosening every thought. The night is calm, quiet, wrapped in a gentle stillness like a soft, warm blanket. Outside, the world is hushed, save for the tender rustle of leaves in a light evening breeze. Perhaps you can imagine the delicate shimmer of candlelight flickering against ancient stone walls, the faint crackle of a hearth fire sending a low, soothing warmth through a peaceful room. Our story tonight begins in a place just like this, a quiet, cloistered convent tucked away among whispering woods and soft, rolling hills. It's a place where time seems to slow, and secrets are tucked safely beneath the hush of prayer and candlelight. Here, one particular nun is working gently by the flickering flame. Her hands move with careful grace, copying prayers into a manuscript, but her script is unusually elegant, flowing like a soft song written on parchment. As her quill glides across the page, a quiet melody hums from her lips, barely louder than a whisper, a song not found in any hymn book, yet rich with feeling and hidden meaning. This is the story of Sister Eleanor, known quietly as the most rebellious nun in the convent's history. She walks softly between obedience and freedom, weaving secret songs and poems beneath the surface of her gentle devotion. Imagine the cool stone floor beneath her feet, worn smooth by countless footsteps over many years. The walls around her are thick and strong, yet carry the faint echo of whispered voices from sisters long gone. The scent of old parchment, beeswax, candles, and a hint of lavender, carefully tended in the garden, fill the air. Eleanor's voice drifts like a lullaby, soft and steady, threading through the quiet night like a secret breeze. Her quill scratches gently, a soothing rhythm that matches the slow beating of your own heart. The convent garden, just beyond the window, is bathed in moonlight. Delicate flowers sway softly, and the leaves rustle like whispered prayers in the night. As you listen to Eleanor's song, let your mind drift with her, floating on the calm currents of melody and history. Feel your breath deepen, your body soften, and your thoughts quiet down, one by one, like stars blinking out in the dawn. Her songs were never meant to be heard by the world outside, but here, in this safe space, they bloom quietly like night flowers, secret and beautiful. Tonight, you join her in this tranquil moment, wrapped in the gentle hush of a world where music and devotion are one. The sound of the quill on parchment continues softly, a comforting companion as you begin to drift. If these quiet tales are helping you drift off, a gentle like or a silent subscribe would mean the world. It helps this sleepy corner of the internet reach others who need a little calm too. I always wonder, where in the world are you listening from right now? If you're still awake, leave a whisper of a comment, maybe your city and the time on your clock. It's a beautiful thing, this quiet little global gathering, all connected through stories and stillness. Now, let's set the mood, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and get comfortable. The gentle scratching of Eleanor's quill on parchment blends with the soft rustle of candle flames flickering in the quiet room. Each tiny flame dances, casting playful shadows that sway like whispered secrets upon the stone walls. You might imagine yourself seated beside her, the cool touch of old wood beneath your fingertips. the delicate scent of beeswax and lavender filling the air. The night outside is hushed, with only the faintest sigh of wind brushing through the cloister's ancient arches. Eleanor's lips move softly, humming melodies that drift like silken threads through the stillness. Her voice is low, almost breath-like, a song woven from the threads of longing and quiet courage. She's writing more than prayers tonight. Hidden beneath the pious verses, her hand sketches lines of poetry, thoughts daring to dream beyond the convent's walls. Each letter curves and loops with an elegance that speaks of a heart yearning to explore, to question, to create. In medieval times, convents were often places of strict obedience and silence. Yet many sisters, like Eleanor, found ways to express themselves through secret songs and poems, their voices cloaked beneath layers of duty and devotion. The sound of quills and parchment is a gentle rhythm here, soothing and constant, like a heartbeat in the quiet night. Outside, the moon hangs low and full, bathing the garden in soft, silver light. Imagine the leaves trembling gently in the cool night air, the scent of blooming jasmine floating through the open window. A small owl hoots softly somewhere nearby, a quiet guardian of secrets in the dark. Eleanor pauses, lifting her head to listen to the stillness around her. In this moment, the convent feels alive, not just a place of rules, but a hidden world of stories and songs. She knows her music is forbidden, a quiet rebellion against the silence expected of her. But it is also a comfort, a lifeline to the world beyond, and a way to keep her spirit free. Feel your breath slow as you settle deeper into this calm. Imagine the soft sound of Eleanor's humming weaving around you, a lullaby for your mind and heart. The night stretches wide and quiet, cradling you in its gentle embrace. Let yourself drift, wrapped in the warmth of candlelight and the soft whisper of old songs. As the night deepens, the convent settles into a profound hush, broken only by the soft tapping of quills and the occasional rustle of parchment. The quiet is thick and comforting, wrapping around you like a plush blanket on a cool evening. Imagine the stone walls, ancient and steady, holding countless stories in their cool, shadowed embrace. You can almost feel their timeless presence, solid and reassuring, as if they, too, are listening to Eleanor's secret song. Her fingers glide gently over the parchment, tracing words that are both prayer and poetry. She writes not just for herself, but for the sisters who have come before her, and those who will follow. Her script flows like water, elegant and full of quiet rebellion. In the cloistered night, where silence is golden and obedience expected, Eleanor's music is a secret spark, a flame flickering softly in the dark. She hums under her breath, the melody weaving through the quiet corridors like a gentle breeze stirring autumn leaves. Outside, the moon's silver glow softens the sharp edges of the garden's hedges and blossoms. The cool air carries the faint scent of rosemary and sage, herbs carefully tended in the convent's small garden. You might imagine stepping outside with Eleanor now, your footsteps light on the soft earth as you wander beneath the boughs of ancient trees. The stars above twinkle quietly, like tiny lanterns lighting your path through the night. Eleanor pauses to breathe in the cool night air, feeling the freedom that comes with this secret moment. Though bound by vows and rules, here she can be herself, a creator, a dreamer, a voice. The stillness of the night invites your own mind to soften and drift. Each breath you take matches the gentle rhythm of the world around you, slow, calm, and steady. As Eleanor's song fades into silence, you feel your own thoughts quiet, folding inward like petals closing at twilight. The convent, the garden, the stars, all become part of your calm, safe world. The night breathes softly around the convent walls, a calm presence that seems to cradle every stone, every leaf, every whispered prayer. Inside, the candlelight flickers quietly, casting delicate shadows that dance slowly, like gentle waves lapping against a quiet shore. Eleanor's hand moves steadily, the tip of her quill gliding across the parchment with a soft, scratching sound, soothing and rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the night itself. Her script is fluid, graceful, a quiet act of beauty and resistance in a world that asks for silence. You might feel the warmth of the candles glow on your skin, a comforting hug in the cool stillness. The scent of old paper mingles with the faint sweetness of beeswax and the whisper of lavender carried in from the garden beyond. Outside the window, the soft rustle of ivy leaves brushes gently against ancient stone. A faint breeze carries the sound of distant church bells, their tolling slow and measured, like a gentle invitation to rest. Eleanor's voice rises again in a soft hum, threading through the quiet like a silken thread stitching the night together. Her melody is secret, a lullaby for the sisters who listen only with their hearts. In medieval times, many nuns were not just caretakers of faith, but keepers of knowledge, copying manuscripts, preserving music, and sometimes even composing their own works in secret. Eleanor's songs carry this hidden legacy, a reminder that even in the strictest of places, the human spirit finds ways to sing. Imagine the feeling of sitting beside her, wrapped in a soft shawl, watching the candle flicker as she writes. The quill's gentle scratch is like a gentle rainfall on a quiet night, steady and calming. You breathe in slowly, matching the rhythm of the night and the soft melody weaving around you. Each breath brings deeper relaxation, your muscles softening, your thoughts growing lighter. The world beyond the convent fades away, replaced by this moment, a quiet sanctuary where curiosity and calm coexist. Eleanor's song becomes a tender thread connecting past and present, weaving a peaceful lullaby for your heart. The candle's flame flickers gently, its warm glow casting long shadows across the rough-hewn stone walls. The quiet scratching of Eleanor's quill is steady and soothing, a soft rhythm like the slow, steady drip of water in a distant cave. Imagine the coolness of the stone floor beneath your bare feet, grounding you gently to the present moment. Outside, the garden sleeps beneath a blanket of soft moonlight, the petals of night-blooming flowers folded delicately, waiting for dawn. Eleanor's voice rises again, barely more than a breath, a song shaped from quiet courage and hidden dreams. She hums melodies that have traveled through time, passed from sister to sister, carried on the wings of secret hope. In the medieval convents, the life of a nun was often one of strict routine, prayer, work, silence. But within these routines, many found small acts of rebellion, secret songs, hidden poems, and whispered stories. Feel the softness of the night air as it drifts in through the open window, carrying with it the scent of fresh herbs and damp earth. The leaves of the ivy outside rustle gently, a lullaby of nature blending seamlessly with Eleanor's melody. She dips her quill once more into the inkpot, the slow swirl of black ink a quiet dance on the edge of the page. Her thoughts drift between duty and desire, between obedience and freedom. a gentle tension that breathes life into every word she writes. You breathe deeply, matching your breath to the slow cadence of the night. In and out, feel the tension in your body soften and release, as if you're sinking deeper into a cloud of calm. The convent's stone walls hold countless stories like hers, stories of secret laughter, whispered prayers, and dreams held close to the heart. Tonight, you are part of that story, wrapped in the warm embrace of history and quiet rebellion. Let yourself sink further into this peaceful moment, carried by the soft melody and the gentle scratch of quills. The candlelight flickers softly, painting the room in a warm, golden glow that feels like a tender embrace. Eleanor's hand moves steadily, the quill tracing letters with a quiet determination that feels like a secret shared only with the night. Outside the window, the garden is cloaked in shadows, the moonlight casting a silver veil over the leaves and petals. The gentle rustling of trees and the distant call of a nightingale weave a soft symphony of nature's quiet lullabies. Eleanor pauses for a moment, her eyes lifting from the parchment to gaze out into the peaceful darkness. She breathes deeply, drawing in the cool, fragrant air, feeling a connection to something much larger than herself, the vastness of the night sky, the gentle pulse of life all around her. Her song resumes, a whisper carried on the breeze, blending with the sounds of the night. It is a melody of hope and quiet strength, a reminder that even in the strictest places, the human spirit can find a way to shine. The convent is a place of refuge, but also of hidden dreams. Within its walls, sisters like Eleanor nurture their secret gifts, music, poetry, art, gifts that blossom quietly beneath the surface. Imagine yourself here now, wrapped in a soft cloak, sitting beside Eleanor at the wooden desk. The surface is smooth and worn, the marks of many hands who have come before, each leaving a trace of their own story. The scent of ink and parchment fills the air, mingling with the faint aroma of herbs drying nearby. You hear the soft scrape of quill on paper, a sound as gentle and steady as the ticking of a clock marking time's slow passage. Your breath grows slow and even, your body sinking deeper into comfort and calm. The night is a soft, protective cocoon, holding you safe as the story unfolds around you. Eleanor's song is a thread weaving through the darkness, pulling you gently toward rest. Let your thoughts drift with the melody, like leaves floating on a slow-moving stream. The world outside fades away, leaving only the quiet, the candlelight, and the secret music of the night. The night deepens, and the convent settles into a profound silence that feels both timeless and tender. The candle's glow flickers gently, its light casting a golden halo that seems to breathe warmth into the cool stone room. Eleanor's hand moves with steady grace, the quill scratching softly as she copies words and melodies that carry the weight of her secret defiance. Her script is beautiful, an elegant dance of curves and lines that capture both prayer and rebellion. Outside, the garden is cloaked in moonlight, shadows weaving a delicate tapestry over the earth. The soft rustle of leaves in the breeze is like a whispered conversation between the trees, a gentle murmur that soothes the soul. Eleanor hums a quiet tune, a song that is hers alone, carried on the breath of the night air. Her melody is a lullaby, woven from threads of longing, hope, and courage. In medieval history, many nuns found ways to express themselves despite the strict rules. They composed secret songs and poems, their voices hidden beneath layers of obedience, but alive in their hearts. Imagine yourself here, seated beside Eleanor, the smooth parchment beneath your fingers, the scent of ink and lavender filling the air. The soft scratch of a quill on paper becomes a gentle rhythm that matches the slow beating of your heart. Your breath slows, deepens, flowing in harmony with the quiet night around you. The world softens, becomes a place of calm and comfort, where dreams can grow quietly and freely. The convent walls hold the stories of many such nights, nights filled with secret songs, whispered prayers, and hidden hope. Tonight, you are part of that story, held safe in the gentle embrace of history and melody. Let yourself drift now, carried on the wings of Eleanor's song, deeper into peaceful sleep. The night air feels soft and still, wrapped around the convent like a comforting shawl. The flickering candlelight creates a quiet dance of shadows, gentle and slow, on the walls of the small chamber. Eleanor's quill moves steadily, tracing words and notes that hold a secret magic, born of quiet rebellion and deep devotion. Her handwriting is delicate and flowing, like the gentle ripple of a stream under moonlight. Outside, the garden breathes softly under the silver glow of the moon. The scent of night-blooming jasmine drifts through the open window, mingling with the faint smell of old parchment and beeswax. Eleanor hums softly again, her voice barely a whisper, carrying a melody that seems to wrap itself around your heart like a silken scarf. The tune is ancient and new all at once, a lullaby of hope, courage, and a longing for freedom. In the cloistered life of medieval convents, silence was often a rule, but the sisters found ways to speak through art, music, and secret writings. Eleanor's song is one such voice, quiet but powerful, a beacon in the stillness of the night. Imagine the smooth texture of parchment beneath your fingertips, the cool touch grounding you as you listen to the soft scratch of the quill. Your breath grows slow and steady, your body sinking deeper into comfort and calm. The gentle rustling of leaves outside blends with the soft murmur of the convent's ancient stones. The world feels safe, quiet, and full of gentle possibilities. Eleanor's song continues, a soothing thread that pulls you closer to rest, cradled by the warmth of candlelight and the hush of night's embrace. The candlelight flickers softly, casting warm golden hues that stretch across the stone walls. The air is still and peaceful, filled with the quiet hum of the night as it wraps gently around the convent. Eleanor's hand moves gracefully, the soft scratching of her quill a steady rhythm in the hush of the chamber. Her script flows like a gentle river, carrying words that are both prayer and secret song, woven together with care and quiet courage. Outside, the garden sleeps beneath the moon's tender glow. Leaves shimmer faintly in the soft breeze, and the faint scent of rosemary lingers in the air, calming and sweet. Eleanor's voice rises in a faint hum, a melody carried on the breath of night. It is a lullaby born from the hidden depths of history, from sisters who dared to dream quietly amid strict vows. Imagine yourself beside her, feeling the smooth texture of parchment and the comforting scent of beeswax candles. The soft rustle of fabric and the faint crackle of the hearth fire add to the gentle chorus of the night. Your breath deepens, matching the steady rhythm of Eleanor's humming. As your body sinks further into a calm, restful state, the convent's walls seem to hold you tenderly, like a protective embrace. In this moment, the world outside fades away, leaving only the soft glow of candlelight. the quiet song, and the warmth of peaceful night. You are wrapped in a cocoon of gentle history and quiet rebellion, a place where dreams and rest flow freely. Let yourself drift now, carried softly by the music of the night, into the gentle arms of sleep. The candle's flame wavers tenderly, casting a warm, golden light that flickers slowly, like the soft beating of a heart. The room feels calm and quiet, wrapped in a peaceful stillness that invites rest and deep relaxation. Eleanor's quill moves with a graceful rhythm, the soft scratching sound, a gentle lullaby, blending with the quiet of the night. Her handwriting curves like the delicate petals of a blooming flower, each letter a whisper of secret dreams and quiet courage. Outside, the garden lies bathed in moonlight, its shadows soft and long across the sleeping earth. The faint rustle of leaves and the gentle sigh of the night breeze mingle with the distant song of an owl, a guardian of the dark. Eleanor's voice lifts in a barely audible hum, a melody woven from threads of hope and longing, a song that carries the weight of stories untold. It is a lullaby for those who dream in silence, a soft rebellion against the rules that bind. Imagine yourself sitting beside her, the smooth surface of the wooden desk cool beneath your fingertips. The scent of old parchment and beeswax candles fills the air, a comforting balm for tired minds and weary hearts. Your breath slows, deepening as you sink further into this moment of quiet calm. The world outside fades, replaced by the gentle glow of candlelight and the soothing sound of Eleanor's secret song. Feel the tension in your body melt away, replaced by a soft warmth that spreads from your chest to your fingertips. The night wraps around you like a soft blanket, holding you safe and secure. Let yourself drift now, carrying on the gentle current of music and history into the quiet, restful arms of sleep. The flickering candlelight hums softly in the quiet chamber, its glow a tender heartbeat in the stillness. Eleanor's quill moves with purpose and grace, the gentle scratch on parchment, a melody, all its own soft, rhythmic, and calming. Outside, the night sky stretches wide, sprinkled with stars like tiny lanterns lighting the dark. The cool night breeze sighs softly, carrying the delicate scent of blooming herbs from the convent's garden. Eleanor's song rises again, a gentle hum beneath the silence, weaving a soothing lullaby that feels like a secret shared just with you. It is a melody born from hope, courage, and quiet defiance, a song that speaks to the strength found in whispered dreams. You might imagine the worn wooden desk where she writes, smooth from years of use, holding the weight of countless prayers and hidden poems. The paper beneath her quill feels cool and smooth, grounding you gently in this peaceful moment. As you breathe slowly, deeply, feel your body relax, further each breath, a wave of calm washing over you. The gentle crackle of the hearth fire nearby adds a soft warmth to the room, mingling with the candle's glow. In medieval history, many nuns were scholars, artists, and musicians quietly preserving knowledge and creating beauty within the walls of their cloisters. Eleanor's secret songs are a tribute to these hidden voices, carried softly through the ages. Let your thoughts drift now, like leaves floating on a slow-moving stream. The night holds you gently, wrapping you in the peaceful embrace of history, melody, and rest. The soft glow of the candlelight dances across the stone walls, creating a gentle rhythm of light and shadow that feels like a tender breath. Eleanor's hand moves steadily, the quill's gentle scratching, a comforting sound that fills the quiet room. Outside, the night is calm and still, the garden wrapped in silver moonlight. The leaves rustle softly, like a whispered lullaby sung by the gentle wind. Eleanor hums a delicate melody, her voice low and soothing, blending seamlessly with the sounds of the night. Her song is a secret gift, a quiet rebellion, woven from hope, dreams, and the courage to be free. You can feel the cool touch of the parchment beneath your fingers, smooth and crisp. The faint scent of lavender drifts through the air, mixing with the aroma of beeswax candles and ancient wood. The convent is a sanctuary of silence and secrets, where hidden stories blossom quietly beneath layers of faith and tradition. Eleanor's music is one of these precious secrets, a soft light in the darkness. Feel your body soften with each breath, your muscles relaxing deeply as the melody wraps around you like a warm shawl. The world outside fades away, leaving only the gentle flicker of candlelight and the soothing sound of her song. Let yourself drift now, carried gently by the music and the peaceful night, deeper into restful sleep. The room is bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, shadows stretching and shrinking with every tender flicker. Eleanor's quill glides quietly over the parchment, each scratching a soothing rhythm, like the gentle tapping of rain against a window pane. Outside, the garden breathes softly in the moonlight, the rustling leaves creating a lullaby for the night. The air carries the subtle fragrance of rosemary and thyme, wrapping the world in a fragrant, calming hug. Eleanor's voice rises in a barely audible hum, a melody woven with threads of hope, secret dreams, and quiet strength. It is a song for those who live quietly, who dream boldly beneath the surface of stillness. Imagine yourself beside her, feeling the worn wood of the desk beneath your hand, the smooth parchment, cool and inviting. The scent of beeswax and old paper mingles with the night air, soothing and familiar. Your breath deepens, slowing to match the rhythm of the night and the soft scratching of the quill. Each inhale brings calm, each exhale releases tension until your body feels light and free. In medieval history, convents were places of refuge and learning, where women found hidden ways to express their creativity and spirit. Eleanor's secret songs and poems are echoes of that quiet rebellion, whispers that have traveled through time. Let yourself drift now, carried gently on the melody of the night, deeper and deeper into peaceful sleep. Our next story is The Baker of Moonlit Rye. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let your shoulders soften, let your jaw unclench. Let your body begin to settle, like flour sifting down through the air. The world outside can wait a little while. Right now, it's only you, your breath, and the soft hum of this story. Feel the gentle warmth of an unseen firelight flickering somewhere nearby. Feel the cool night air brushing your skin like a slow exhale from the moon itself. And now, our story begins. Our story tonight begins in a quiet medieval village. It is long past dusk. The cobblestone streets have grown still, their corners tucked into soft pockets of shadow. A pale moon hangs low above the rooftops, spilling silver light onto the thatch, the chimneys, the winding lanes. Every window glows faintly with the last breaths of candle flame. The blacksmith has laid down his hammer. The shepherd has called his dog to rest. Even the wind has gone quiet, as though it too has fallen into slumber. But at the edge of the square, where the air smells faintly of grain and ash, there is one small shop still awake. It is the village bakery. And inside, beneath the soft hum of a glowing hearth, the baker works alone. His name is Tomas, a gentle man with flour dusted over his sleeves, and a quiet smile tucked beneath his beard. Every evening, when the world has gone to sleep, Tomas rises from his stool, stretches his arms, and prepares his dough for the next day's bread. Tonight, though, is something different. Tonight, he is baking moonlit rye, a special loaf that the old ones say brings peaceful dreams if left to rest beneath the night sky. He does not bake it for gold, nor for fame. He bakes it for the village, for the tired hearts, the weary hands, and the quiet souls who have given their daylight to work and care. Tomas has heard the whispers of the legend that centuries ago monks discovered a rare kind of rye grain that, when harvested by moonlight, carried the calm of the stars within it. Its scent could slow a racing mind. Its taste could soften the heart. And when baked with patience, it would cradle a sleeper in dreams of warmth and peace. So, tonight, under the silver hush of the moon, Tomas will try to bake such a loaf himself. He moves slowly, as if dancing with the quiet. A wooden scoop dips into a barrel of rye flour, and a soft puff of dust rises into the air, swirling like tiny stars. He hums, under his breath, a tune passed down from his grandmother. The sound is almost nothing, a gentle vibration, a steady rhythm, the kind of song you can feel in your bones more than you can hear with your ears. He adds warm water from a clay jug, just enough to glisten on the flour's surface. He pours in honey, not too much, only a spoonful, the way his grandmother used to, saying it sweetens the night. Then, with slow, circular motions, he kneads the dough. Press, fold, turn, press, fold, turn. Each movement seems to echo the rhythm of a heartbeat. Each exhale feels longer, slower, deeper. You might imagine your own breath sinking with his, in and out, and in again, as if your thoughts were being kneaded gently into calmness. Outside, the village sleeps, but the moon watches. Its light spills through the bakery window, shimmering across the wooden table. It touches the bowl, the flour, and the baker's steady hands. It feels as though the moon itself is helping him, guiding his motions, softening the air. The scent of rye begins to bloom, earthy, wholesome, familiar. There's something ancient in that scent, something that carries centuries of hands kneading, baking, breaking bread together. Tomas smiles softly. He whispers to the dough, as if to an old friend, "Sleep soon, little loaf. I'll keep the fire low." He covers it with a cloth and lets it rise. While the dough rests, Tomas steps outside. The air is cool, gentle, filled with the faint sound of crickets. He wipes his hands on his apron and looks toward the distant fields, pale and silvery in the moonlight. Above him, the stars shimmer, countless, eternal, calm. He wonders if they've always watched the world this way, quiet, patient, tender. He breathes in deeply. The scent of rye, smoke, and dew fills his chest. The kind of scent that tells you you're home. He listens. There's the faint rustle of leaves beyond the village wall, the trickle of water from the fountain at the square's edge, the soft creak of wood from a distant shutter moving in the breeze. All these sounds, tiny, ordinary, yet somehow beautiful, fold together like layers of comfort, a lullaby of the night itself. Tomas returns to his work. The dough has risen, soft and ready. He shapes it with careful hands, tracing an old spiral pattern into the top, a symbol of protection learned from monks who once traveled through this region centuries ago. When he slides the loaf into the warm brick oven, the fire sighs gently, like it's glad to help. The room fills with golden light, flickering across the wooden beams, the flour-dusted shelves, the jars of herbs and dried fruit. Crackle, crackle, whisper. The sound of baking fills the space, a rhythm both lively and soothing, like rain on a roof. Tomas leans back, closes his eyes for a moment, and listens. The warmth touches his face, his breath slows. The fire, the night, and the baker all seem to breathe in time together. In the ancient days, it was believed that bread could carry blessings, that when you gave it freely, you shared not just food, but comfort, strength, and peace. And so Tomas keeps that belief alive. Every loaf he bakes is meant for someone: the shepherd, the washerwoman, the child with sleepy eyes. Tonight's loaf, though, is for the village itself. When the baking is done, he takes the bread out of the oven. It glows softly in the light, its crust a deep golden brown. He carries it outside to the stone ledge beneath the window and sets it beneath the open sky. There, the moonlight spills over it, silver and gentle, wrapping it in cool air. The legend says this is when the magic happens, when the bread, still warm from the fire, meets the calm of the moon, and the two become one. Tomas watches for a while, his heart full and still. He could swear he hears the faintest sigh from the loaf, as though it, too, is settling into sleep. The baker sits beside it. He leans against the wall of his shop, eyes half closed. The sound of the night wraps around him, wind, crickets, the hush of far-off water. And for a moment there is no time at all, only this peace, only this softness. If you listen closely now, you might feel that same peace settling into you. You might imagine the warmth of the oven still lingering in the air, the scent of bread surrounding you, the stars keeping watch above. Everything is safe. Everything is calm. Everything is enough. The night deepens. The stars drift slowly overhead, their light shimmering on rooftops and chimneys, on sleeping fields and quiet wells. Somewhere, an owl calls once low, soft, and distant, then silence again, as if even the creatures of the night are breathing with the rhythm of the baker's calm. Tomas sits with his loaf cooling in the moonlight, and for a while he simply listens. There is something sacred about the stillness of this hour, the kind of silence that is not empty but full, full of life resting, of hearts dreaming, of the world itself exhaling. The bakery behind him creaks softly, wood shifting with the cool night air. The faint scent of warm bread drifts out through the open door, curling through the village like a tender sigh. Far away, in a cottage near the edge of the wood, a child stirs in her sleep. She dreams of a field, tall rye, swaying in silver waves under the moon. In her dream, she sees a baker, his hands glowing softly as he shapes the dough. She smiles in her sleep and turns over, deeper into rest. Perhaps it is a coincidence, or perhaps the old stories are true, that the moonlit rye carries its calm into every sleeping soul nearby. Back at the bakery, Tomas looks up at the moon. He thinks of his mother, who used to tell him stories of how the moon had its own bakery in the sky, where clouds were sifted like flour and the stars were baked each night, golden and glowing, to hang above the world. He can almost hear her voice, soft as flour, falling through his fingers. He closes his eyes and whispers, "Still baking with me, aren't you, mother?" The wind answers only with a gentle sigh, brushing his hair, carrying away the words. He feels a warmth in his chest, not from the oven now, but from the peace of knowing he has done something simple, something good. He looks at the loaf again. The crust catches the moonlight like polished amber, A faint curl of steam rises, the last breath of warmth from its heart. Tomas stands slowly, careful not to disturb the quiet. He carries the loaf toward the old stone fountain at the center of the village square. Its water glimmers faintly beneath the stars. He places the bread on the fountain's edge, where all may see it in the morning, and all may take a piece, a gift for rest, a gift for dreams. The baker steps back, folds his hands, and bows his head for a moment, a habit from old prayers learned long ago, before dawns and deadlines mattered so much. The sound of the fountain, drip, drip, trickle, fills the space between thoughts. It becomes a rhythm, like breathing, like a lullaby. Now imagine, as Tomas walks home, the quiet sounds that accompany him, the soft shuffle of his worn boots on cobblestone, burst the rustle of his apron as it brushes against his knees, the whisper of night wind sliding between the houses. He passes the blacksmith's forge, silent now, cold. He passes the chapel, its bell still, its candlelight out. He passes the sleeping inn, from which faint laughter lingers like perfume in the air. And as he walks, he hums again that low, familiar tune from before. It isn't a song of words, but of feeling, of peace, patience, and gratitude. The kind of tune that carries the heart gently toward sleep. When he reaches his cottage, a small place tucked behind the alder trees, he opens the wooden door and steps inside. The fire in the hearth glows faintly, coals pulsing like a heartbeat. He removes his apron, folds it carefully, and hangs it by the door. Then he pours a cup of warm milk from the pot that waits near the fire's edge. He sits at the little table. A candle flickers beside him. The wax drips slowly, steady, rhythmic, like seconds melting away. He takes a sip. The milk is sweet, thick, and comforting, and as he drinks, his eyes grow heavy, not with exhaustion, but with the softness of knowing the night is well. Now, let yourself settle a little deeper, to breathe in and out. Imagine you re-sitting there beside him, the faint orange glow of the firelight warming your hands. Outside, the world is asleep. The scent of fresh bread lingers in the air, wrapping around you like a blanket. There is nothing to do, nowhere to be, only this, the quiet, the warmth, the peace. Tomas finishes his milk and gazes at the candle flame. It flickers, dances, leans toward the open window, as though whispering to the night beyond. He smiles, watching the tiny movements, the way light and shadow play across the table. In the silence, he thinks about the people who will find the loaf in the morning, the shepherd, the mason, the children with bright eyes and messy hair. He imagines their smiles, the way they'll tear the bread, the way the scent will fill their homes. He imagines laughter rising again, and gratitude passing between them like warmth. He thinks, perhaps peace is baked, not found. He stands, blows out the candle, and lets the last curl of smoke twist upward, carrying with it every remaining thought of the day. Outside, the village breathes, slow, steady, serene. The loaf cools beside the fountain, shining faintly beneath the moon. The stars blink like distant embers. The night holds its hush, tender and endless, and slowly the world tilts toward dawn. A pale blue touches the sky. The moon lowers, heavy with dreams it has gathered from every sleeping soul. And as the first bird sings, a single, clear note, Tomas drifts into sleep by the fading fire. Now, imagine the warmth of that bakery still glowing somewhere in your chest. The scent of rye and honey is still floating in the air around you. the sound of quiet breathing, yours, perhaps Tomas's, steady and peaceful. Let your body grow heavier now, your fingers loose, your shoulders are soft. Your thoughts are like breadcrumbs carried away by a gentle wind. Let each breath pull you deeper into the calm. You are safe here, you are warm here, the night is kind, and as your mind drifts further, as the edges of the story blur like mist, you might see the baker again, working beneath a softer moon. You might feel the rhythm of his kneading, the heartbeat of his craft. You might even smell the bread baking again, slow and golden, somewhere in the distance. And you'll know that this moment, this stillness, is its own kind of moonlit rye, a nourishment for the spirit, a softening of the mind, a gift from the night to you. So rest now, breathe softly, drift gently, sleep well. The moon will keep its watch, the stars will hold your dreams, and the baker of moonlit rye will be there, kneading peace into the dawn. The first rays of sunlight stretch across the rooftops, soft and golden. They glide down chimneys, spill over cobblestones, and finally reach the little fountain at the heart of the village. There, the loaf of moonlit rye still rests calm, round, and perfect. A faint mist curls around it like a breath on a winter morning. The fountain murmurs beside it, water glinting like glass in the early light. For a few quiet moments, no one stirs. Even the roosters seem to pause, sensing something sacred about the stillness. The village, half awake, listens to its own hush. Then, from the baker's lane, a wooden door creaks open. An old woman steps out, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders. Her name is Marga, and every morning for 50 years she's come to fetch water from the fountain. But this morning she stopped. Her eyes fall upon the golden loaf resting there, glimmering faintly under the dawn. For a long time she just stands and watches, as though she stumbled upon a miracle left quietly for her alone. She reaches out, fingers trembling, and breaks off a piece. The crust crackles softly beneath her touch, releasing the scent of warm rye, honey, and faint smoke from the baker's hearth. She brings it to her lips. Take one small bite. The taste is simple, yet deep, like a memory. Like the earth and moon and fire all meeting in her mouth. A tear slips from her eye, though she doesn't know why, and she whispers, "Bless that man." Word spreads quickly, as it often does in small places. By the time the sun fully clears the hills, half the village has come to see the mysterious loaf. Each person takes a piece, each one pauses, and each one seems to sigh a little afterward, that kind of sigh that feels like setting down something heavy you didn't realize you were carrying. The shepherd, his hands rough from the fields. The stonemason, his voice hoarse from dust. The young mother, with her sleepy baby tied to her back. All take their share of the bread. All feel, somehow, lighter. No one notices Tomas at first, standing quietly in the distance, his apron folded under his arm. He watches them, a small smile curling at his lips, not for pride, not for credit, just joy, the kind that comes when something you love becomes something others need. He doesn't tell anyone it was his doing. He simply returns to his shop and starts again. This time, the dough is ordinary, just flour, water, salt, yeast. Yet, as his hands move through it, there's still a glow in the air, a quiet hum of contentment that lingers from the night before. He hums again, that old, wordless tune, as flour drifts around him like morning mist. Outside, the square fills with laughter. The bread is gone, but the peace remains, woven invisibly through the air like threads of gold. Now imagine standing there yourself, in that village square, the cobblestones warm beneath your feet, the air crisp with the scent of rye and sunlight. You can hear the faint splash of the fountain, the murmur of voices, the distant bleating of sheep beyond the wall, and somewhere the soft tap of a wooden peel against a brick oven, the heartbeat of the bakery. The sound of care was real. Tomas finishes shaping the morning loaves and sets them to rise. He steps out into the light, stretching his back. Children run past him, laughing, chasing one another in circles. One of them, a little girl with red ribbons in her hair, stops to hand him a single wildflower. "For the Baker of Moonlight," she says, shyly. Tomas chuckles. "Is that what they're calling me now?" She nods, her eyes bright. "Mama said the bread made her sleep all the way till sunrise. She never does that." He kneels down, takes the flower gently, and tucks it behind his ear. "Then I'm glad," he says softly. "Sleep is the sweetest gift." As the day unfolds, Tomas tends to his ovens, sells his loaves, and greets each neighbor with a calm smile. But inside, he carries a quiet secret that peace can be baked and shared and multiplied. When evening returns, he feels the pull again, that soft invitation from the moon. And so, as twilight paints the sky in lavender and gold, he prepares once more for his nightly ritual. He cleans the table, he sets out the rye, he hums. The rhythm of kneading fills the air again. Press, fold, turn. Press, fold, turn. Outside, the first stars awaken. Their light slides through the window and pools across the dough. He feels it beneath his fingers, the same pulse, the same quiet power. He thinks of the villagers, their rested faces this morning, their laughter. He thinks of Marga's tears, the shepherd's grateful nod, the child's red ribbons fluttering in the wind. He whispers to the dough, "Tonight we'll make dreams again." Later, when the bread bakes, he sits by the oven and lets his thoughts wander. He wonders if bread could carry wishes, if, perhaps, the warmth of the fire could seal a prayer into the crust. He closes his eyes and imagines each spark of the fire turning into a blessing, for the lonely warmth, for the tired rest, for the frightened courage, for all peace. He doesn't know if such things truly happen. But as he listens to the soft crackle of the oven, he feels the world answer in kind, with silence, with stillness, with understanding. Now breathe softly with him. In and out, imagine the glow of the fire before you, the soft orange reflections dancing across the wooden floor. The air is thick with the scent of baking rye, honey, and faint smoke. You can almost taste it, warm and nutty, comforting in its simplicity. Let your body relax into that scent, as though every muscle could soften in its warmth. You are in the bakery now, safe, unseen, weightless. You can hear Tomas's slow footsteps, the hum of his voice, the heartbeat of the oven. Everything is calm, everything is right. Outside, clouds drift lazily across the moon. They paint the village in shifting silvers and shadows. The fountain whispers, still, and the wind moves gently through the rye fields beyond. Each stalk sways, slow, graceful, endless. The moonlight pours over them, turning every blade into a ribbon of light. And somewhere among those fields, perhaps, the spirit of the first monks, those who once blessed the moonlit rye, still walk in silence, smiling at what has become of their secret. When Tomas takes the new loaf outside, he sets it on the same ledge as before, but this time he sits beside it longer. He feels no rush. He watches the stars come alive one by one until the sky seems stitched with quiet fire. He imagines that each light above is a dream carried upward by someone's sleeping heart, and that somewhere, perhaps, his bread helps lift those dreams a little higher. He closes his eyes, lets his head rest back against the stone, and lets the rhythm of the night cradle him. The fountains trickle, the whisper of leaves, the far-off hoot of an owl, the world's lullaby. And you, listening now, you might feel yourself joining that rhythm, your own breath falling into the same soft pattern as Tomas's. Your heartbeat slows to match the pulse of the earth beneath the village. The story, now, is not separate from you. It is around you, inside you, as soft and real as breath. Dawn will come again, gentle and gold, and the bread will once more bring its peace. But for now, the night remains quiet, infinite, kind. Let the warmth of the bakery stay with you. Let the calm of the moon settle in your chest. Let the scent of rye linger in your dreams. You are safe. You are home. You are at rest. Sleep now, dear one. Sleep like the baker of moonlit rye. Sleep under the soft watch of stars, and let every breath be a whisper of peace. The year turned gently. Seasons folded over one another like pages of a soft, well-loved book. Winter came and went, its breath cold but kind. Spring returned with dew and birdsong, and the rye fields beyond the village grew tall once more, pale green blades shimmering in morning light. And all through those months, the baker kept his ritual. Each full moon, when the village slept, he would rise, light his hearth, and bake a single loaf of moonlit rye. Sometimes he'd leave it by the fountain, sometimes at the chapel door, sometimes beside a traveler's roadstone, where tired feet might pause and find comfort. Each time, the village woke softer, more patient, kinder. No one ever claimed the bread was magic. They simply felt its calm, the quiet way it mended the heart. As the spring deepened, one small girl began to watch him from afar. Her name was Ellen. She was the daughter of the blacksmith, with soot-smudged cheeks and eyes bright as morning dew. Every evening, when her father's forge went still, she would sneak to the edge of the bakery's window, pressing her hands against the cool glass to watch Tomas work. She loved the way he moved, steady, unhurried, every motion filled with care. She loved the glow of the fire behind him, the way flour drifted around his hair like starlight. One night, when courage outweighed shyness, she whispered through the open window, "Master Baker, may I watch closer?" Tomas turned, surprised, but his smile was kind. "You may," he said softly, "but you must also promise to be quiet. The dough likes peace." She nodded solemnly. "I can be as quiet as snow." And so she stepped inside. From that night on, Ellen became his small apprentice. She fetched water, stirred honey, and learned the slow rhythm of kneading. Tomas never hurried her. He spoke little, letting the sounds of the bakery teach instead. The creak of the wooden table, the sigh of the oven door, the faint crackle of coals. When she worked too quickly, he would murmur, "Slow your hands, child. Bread doesn't need haste. It needs time, breath, and love." She would nod and slow her movements until they matched the quiet rhythm of his. Weeks passed, and the bond between them grew gentle and strong. Ellen learned the secret songs he hummed, the way to fold the dough so air could rest inside like a sigh. But one thing puzzled her, the way he always placed one loaf outside, alone, beneath the stars. "Why do you feed the night?" she asked one evening, brushing flour from her nose. Tomas smiled, eyes reflecting the firelight. "Because the night hungers too," he said softly, "and if we care for it, it cares for us." Ellen frowned a little. "You mean dreams?" He nodded. "Dreams, rest, peace, they all come from the same hunger. We forget to feed them sometimes, but the night never forgets to feed us." That night, the two baked together, not for the market, but for the moon. Tomas guided her hands as she traced a spiral across the dough's surface, whispering a small blessing she had made up herself. "For the ones who feel small, let this bread be warm." Tomas's eyes softened. "That's a good prayer," he said. They placed the loaf in the oven and together watched the fire flicker and breathe. Outside, the moon rose full and round, pouring its light through the window. When the bread was done, Tomas nodded toward the door. "Come," he said. "We'll share it with the stars." They stepped into the cool night air. The village was asleep, every shutter closed, every street bathed in silver. Ellen held the loaf carefully in her hands. It was warm, fragrant, humming with life. They walked to the fountain, and together set it on the stone rim. For a long while, they simply stood there, side by side. The stars above shimmered like scattered flour across a dark table. The fountain murmured softly below. Ellen looked up at Tomas. "Do you think the moon knows?" he whispered. He smiled. "The moon always knows." The next morning, the loaf was gone, but near the fountain, someone had left a sprig of lavender and a note written in a shaky hand. "Your bread gave me dreams of my wife again." She was laughing. "Thank you." Tomas folded the note quietly and set it on the counter. He did not need to say anything. Ellen saw the glimmer in his eyes, and she understood. As weeks turned to months, more and more villagers began to help. The washerwoman offered her wooden paddle. The shepherd brought milk from his flock. Even the blacksmith built a new iron hook for hanging the baker's tools. And one evening, beneath a harvest moon, Tomas proposed something new. He gathered the village in the square and said, "Once a year, when the fields are full and the moon is high, let us all bake together, not to sell, but to share. Let us make a night of bread and stars." The idea filled the air like music. The villagers nodded, smiled, and clapped their hands in delight. Children danced, flower dust swirled through the golden air, and even the fountain seemed to sing louder. When the night of the celebration came, the square glowed with lanterns and laughter. Every hearth in the village burned warm. Tables overflowed with dough and bowls and baskets. Tomas moved among them, guiding hands, offering smiles, humming his soft tune. Ellen worked beside him, tall now, her braids dusted white with flour. Each person traced a small pattern on their loaf. Some drew hearts, some spirals, some stars. And when the moon reached its highest point, every loaf was placed together around the fountain, glimmering under the light. The villagers fell silent. All they could hear was the fountain's song, the crackle of a few torches, and the night's soft breath moving through the square. Tomas looked around at them, faces he had known for decades, each glowing with warmth and peace, and felt his heart overflow. He spoke quietly, almost a whisper. "This is how we feed the night, with kindness, with care, with bread and stars." And from that night on, the festival became tradition. Each year, when the moon swelled bright and full, the villagers gathered to bake, and every loaf carried something unseen, a hush, a comfort, a gentle hum that lulled even the restless to sleep. Children grew up hearing stories of the first moonlit loaf, of the baker who found peace in the rhythm of his hands. They would fall asleep to those stories, dreaming of silver fields and quiet ovens. And when they awoke, they would breathe easier, as though the scent of rye still lingered in their rooms. Time, as it always does, flowed gently onward. The baker grew older, his beard more silver than flour. Ellen became the one who rose at night to light the hearth, who hummed to the dough, who traced blessings into the crust. And sometimes, when the moonlight poured through the window, she could almost see Tomas beside her, his outline soft as smoke, his smile steady, proud, and kind. She would whisper, "Sleep well, Master Baker," and imagine him answering, "I am always near the oven's glow." Now, as you listen, imagine the village years later. The moon is rising again. Lanterns sway in the evening breeze. Children run across the square, carrying baskets of freshly baked loaves. The fountain sings its eternal lullaby. The stars shimmer above like tiny sparks from a cosmic hearth. And somewhere, in that woven piece of sound and scent and breath, you can still hear Tomas's soft hum carried on the wind. Press, fold, turn, press, fold, turn. Take a deep breath now, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let that rhythm echo in your own chest. Let it loosen what's tight. Let it warm what feels cold. You are standing there among them, a guest of the night of bread and stars. The air smells of rye and honey and laughter. Someone hands you a small loaf, still warm from the oven. You tear it open, and steam rises, carrying calm and sweetness into your lungs. The taste is gentle, simple, perfect. And as you eat, you feel yourself soften, your thoughts, your worries, your edges. You feel a peace you didn't know you were missing, and settle quietly in your heart. When you close your eyes, you can still feel the warmth of the loaf in your hands. You can still see the moon above, tender and whole. You can still hear the fountain's murmur, the laughter fading into silence, the hum of the baker somewhere close. And you know, deep down, that the secret of the moonlit rye was never really about the bread. It was about love, about time, about giving your care slowly enough that peace could rise within it. So now, as you breathe and drift, and let the world fade softly into sleep, remember this. Somewhere, always, a baker needs the night into kindness. Somewhere, always, the stars glow for those who close their eyes. And somewhere, always, peace is still rising. Years drifted by as gently as smoke from a hearth. The little village grew, though never too large to forget its heart. Children who had once danced around the fountain now tended their own fields, their own ovens, their own quiet homes. The night of bread and stars returned each year, always under the same faithful moon. And through it all, the story of Tomas the baker became a lullaby. Mothers told it while stirring soup. Fathers hummed his tune as they mended shoes. Old Marga, now frail but smiling, would sit by the fountain and say, "If you listen close enough, you can still smell his bread in the rain." Ellen had become the new master of the bakery. She still rose before dawn, still dusted her hands with flour, still hummed that tune of kneading and care. But she had also become something else, a teacher. Each spring, when the young apprentices came from nearby towns to learn her craft, she began the same way. She would place a lump of dough before them, smooth and pale, and whisper, "This is the breath of the earth. Treat it kindly, and it will feed you in ways you cannot see. They would laugh, sometimes unsure, but her calm smile would hush them, and soon they too learned the rhythm. Press, fold, turn, press, fold, turn. And as their hands moved slower, their minds grew quieter. As their thoughts softened, they began to listen to the fire, to the dough, to the sound of their own hearts steadying. One apprentice stayed longer than the rest. His name was Nile, a young man from a coastal town where the wind never stopped moving. He had come seeking skill, but found, instead, stillness. Ellen noticed the way he listened to everything, to the crackle of kindling, to the groan of the old oven door, to the breath between her words. One evening, she found him outside by the fountain, holding a loaf he had just baked. He was whispering something she couldn't quite hear. When she asked, he said shyly, "I was telling the bread my wish." "And what wish is that?" "That it might travel," he said. "That someone far from here might taste it and sleep well." Ellen smiled softly. "Then we'll help it along." The next morning, she wrapped the loaf in clean linen and placed it in Nile's satchel. She pressed her flour-dusted hand against his shoulder. "Wherever you go," she said, "carry peace in your palms. That's the true art of baking." He bowed low, eyes shining, and promised he would. Then he left, following the winding road beyond the rye fields, past the hills, down toward the sea. For weeks he traveled from village to village, offering bread to strangers. Some thought him odd, a baker who sold nothing, who gave his loaves away freely, but those who tasted his bread spoke softly of strange dreams afterward. Dreams of still water and glowing fields. Dreams of the moon's hand resting gently on their brows. Dreams that lingered, not in memory, but in calm. Word spread slowly, like dawn, across the world. People began to speak of the loaves that wandered, bread that carried comfort, baked beneath a patient moon. One evening, on the far side of the sea, Nile found himself in a bustling port town. The air was filled with salt and noise and hurried feet. He rented a small oven by the docks and began to bake. At first, no one noticed him, but as the night deepened, the scent of rye and honey drifted through the streets, weaving between the taverns and ships, calling softly to tired hearts. Sailors came first, then merchants, then weary mothers carrying sleeping children. Each left with a loaf in hand, and each, that night, dreamed of quiet villages and lantern-lit fountains, and a baker with silver hair humming by the fire. By morning, the town felt different, not louder, not brighter, just gentler, as though something had loosened in the air. And when Nile looked toward the sea, he could see small boats setting out each carrying some piece of the bread, and with it the calm. Back in the village where it all began, Ellen felt it before she heard of it. A lightness in the air one morning, a ripple of warmth that seemed to travel from the horizon inward, as if the world itself was exhaling. She stepped outside and looked toward the hills where the rye fields shimmered. A breeze brushed her cheeks, soft, familiar, full of distant salt. She smiled, whispering, "Ah, Tomas, your bread walks now." From then on, the night of bread and stars took on new meaning. People from distant towns began to arrive, carrying their own dough, their own songs. Some came by cart, others on foot, a few by boat. And on that night, the square became a constellation of ovens and lanterns. Every loaf that was baked was blessed not just for the village, but for travelers yet unseen. When the moon reached its highest, the villagers broke their loaves and shared them with strangers, passing pieces like shared light. It was said that even the wind that night smelled faintly of rye. The old fountain still sang, but now its song echoed far beyond the village walls. And if one stood quietly by it, one might feel the pulse of distant shores, the gentle rhythm of other bakers, other ovens, other hearts beating in time with Tomas's ancient tune. You might imagine it now, a map of night, dotted with small points of light, each one a bakery somewhere, glowing softly, someone awake, someone kneading dough in silence. Each movement is steady, patient, loving. Each breath carries the memory of that first moonlit loaf. The rhythm is everywhere if you listen. Press, fold, turn. Press, fold, turn. It is the rhythm of making, the rhythm of resting, the rhythm of peace itself. Now breathe slowly. Imagine you are there again by the fountain as the lanterns sway in the warm night breeze. The scent of bread is all around you. Laughter fades to murmurs, murmurs to sighs, sighs to silence. The moon watches from above, proud and full, its reflection trembling in the fountain's water. You close your eyes and feel the cool stone beneath your hands, the warmth of the loaf in your lap, the hush of the world leaning into sleep. Somewhere a baker hums. Somewhere a child dreams. Somewhere peace is being made again, one slow fold at a time. And as you listen to the quiet hum of the night, you might realize that you've been breathing in that same rhythm all along. That the story, the baker, the bread, they are simply ways to remind you of what already lives inside you. The calm that rises when you stop to care. The warmth that grows when you give without asking. The peace that rests when you let the world slow down. So let the scent linger a while longer. Let the night stay soft around you. Let yourself drift, not away from the story, but deeper into it, to that place where dreams smell faintly of honey and smoke, and the moon forever keeps watch over a loaf still cooling on a stone ledge. Years rolled onward like slow waves against a quiet shore. The wandering bakers carried the calm of the moonlit rye from port to port, hill to hill, valley to valley. No one quite knew where the tale began any more, only that somewhere, long ago, a humble baker had found a way to fold peace into bread. In the far north, where mountains kept watch over cold rivers, a messenger once carried such a loaf to a royal city. It was meant only as food for his journey, a gift from a fisherwoman in the southern ports who said, "Take this seat and sleep kindly." But by the time he reached the stone gates, the scent of rye and honey had wrapped itself around him like a promise. He gave half to a stable boy and half to a guard, and that night both dreamed of the same thing, a small fountain beneath a full moon, and the sound of a gentle voice humming by an unseen fire. When the king awoke the next morning, he found the stable boy asleep beside the horses, peaceful for the first time in months. He asked what miracle had brought such rest, and the boy, shy but honest, said, "It was the bread, sire." It felt like breathing the moon. The king, troubled by many sleepless nights, sent for this bread. It arrived the next evening, simple loaf, wrapped in linen, marked only with a spiral traced across its crust. No emblem, no seal, no crown. The royal baker sliced it carefully and warmed it by the hearth. The king ate in silence. He said nothing as he tasted the first bite, nor the second, nor the third. But later, when the candles had burned low and the court was quiet, a servant passing his door heard something unexpected, a deep, steady rhythm of breath. The king was sleeping. From that night on, he slept each night with a piece of moonlit rye by his bedside, and slowly, the palace changed. The guards spoke softer, the halls echoed with less haste. The queen began to smile again. Even the palace cats purred more often. Word of the sleeping bread reached monasteries and harbors, markets and courts. Scholars wrote treatises trying to explain it. Some said the rye was blessed by moonlight, others that it was an herbal secret of monks. But the bakers, who knew, quiet ones, who worked beneath the stars, never spoke. They only baked, and in the hush of night they hummed the same slow tune, press, fold, turn, press, fold, turn. Now, imagine one of those monasteries, a stone building high on a hill, bells silent in the fog. Inside, an old brother kneels beside a clay oven, watching embers breathe. He has baked this bread for many years, though he never met Tomas, never saw the village where it began. Yet, as he shapes the dough, his hands move as though guided by someone else's memory. He speaks softly to the young novices who watch him. The moon teaches patience, he says. If you hurry the dough, it grows restless. But if you breathe with it, it will rise in its own good time. The novices listen, wide-eyed, and for the first time understand that bread is more than food. It is the pause between heartbeats, the silence between prayers. Down below, in the valleys where merchants pass, the legend of the moonlit rye becomes part of songs. Minstrels play it on lutes in taverns. Sailors sing it at sea to calm the waves. Even healers quote it to patients who cannot rest. Sleep, sleep, as the bakers rise softly under the silver sky. Somewhere in all of this, Tomas's name is almost forgotten, but his rhythm remains. You could say it still hums in the earth itself, the sound of care passed from hand to hand. And perhaps, one quiet night, you might imagine walking through such a kingdom. The streets are lit by lanterns, the air thick with the scent of baking. You pass a narrow alley and see, through a half-open door, a baker humming to himself. He doesn't notice you. His hands move slowly and sure. The oven crackles. The moon leans in through the window. And you understand this is the same song, the same piece, still alive. You linger, breathing it in. Then you walk on, lighter, as though some of the calm has settled in your bones. By the time you reach the city gates, dawn is rising. The river glows like poured gold. Behind you, bells begin to ring the morning call. But their sound doesn't jar you. It folds into the rhythm, into the world's quiet pulse. You find yourself whispering, without meaning to. Press, fold, turn. It's enough to make the world feel gentle again. Take another breath now. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let the story's warmth stay with you, the smell of the ovens, the hush of the monasteries, the sigh of the sea. All of it moving through time like slow music. The baker, the king, the monk, the sailor, they are all part of one great exhale, one long night of rest that never truly ends. The moon still rises, patient as ever. Somewhere, a hand still kneads dough under its silver light. Somewhere, someone still hums the song that began in that small, forgotten village. And you listening here, breathing softly, you are part of it too now. You carry the calm forward simply by resting, by allowing stillness to rise in you the way bread rises in a warm kitchen. So, let your thoughts drift the way flour drifts when it falls through a beam of moonlight. Let the air around you feel thicker, sweeter. Let your breath slow until you can almost hear the quiet crackle of the oven again, the fountain's murmur, the rustle of rye in the wind. Everything is at peace, everything is enough, and the night as always, keeps watch. Time, in its gentle way, thinned the edges of the story. Centuries passed, kings changed, villages rose and fell like the tides. But always, somewhere, the scent of warm rye returned in the night wind. Sometimes it came from a market stall in a crowded town, sometimes from a monastery kitchen far from any road, sometimes simply from a small cottage where an old woman baked for the joy of hearing the oven sigh. The world had changed. Steel replaced iron, lanterns replaced candles, books replaced songs. Yet the quiet rhythm of the baker's hands lived on. No one calls it moonlit rye anymore. They called it night bread, or peace bread, or dream dough. But if you asked why it was baked at night, those who knew would smile and say, because the stars like to watch it rise. Far across the mountains, in a land of endless meadows, a scholar named Oren spent his life collecting half-forgotten tales. He had heard the story of the moonlit rye only as a rumor, whisper told by an old sailor in a tavern near the river. The sailor had said, "Eat this bread by moonlight, lad, and you'll dream of home, even if you've none to return to." The words stayed with him. Oren, who rarely slept, began searching for the truth of that story. He traveled through libraries, monasteries, and bakeries. He found fragments, notes, songs, recipes that mentioned the moon, or the fountain, or a baker's lullaby, but never the whole story, until one autumn night, when he arrived at a small village whose name no map recorded. It was a quiet place, built around a square, with a fountain at its heart. And though the world beyond had changed, beyond recognition, this village seemed untouched by time. He asked the innkeeper about the fountain, and the innkeeper smiled faintly. "Ah," he said, "you've come for the bread, haven't you?" Oren felt something stir inside him, something both curious and childlike. "Yes," he said, "if there's still someone who knows how it's made." The innkeeper nodded toward a small cottage with a crooked chimney and a window that glowed faintly gold even in the daylight. "She does," he said. "Go before midnight when the stars begin to listen." That night, under a sky clear enough to see the shape of the Milky Way, Oren approached the cottage. Through the open window, he saw an old woman kneading dough in a large wooden bowl. Her hair was silver, her hands sure. The air was thick with the scent of honey and smoke. He watched for a long while before knocking. When she turned, her smile felt familiar, though he'd never met her. "You've come far," she said softly. Her voice sounded like the rustle of flour being sifted. He bowed slightly. "I've come to learn," he said, "about the bread, about the dream." She motioned for him to come inside. "The dream doesn't belong to me," she said. "It belongs to the night. But the night lets me borrow it." He sat at the table as she worked. Each motion she made seemed to draw the air quieter, thicker, softer. He could hear the tiny creak of the wooden spoon, the faint sigh of her breath. At last, she lifted her hands from the dough and said, "This recipe has no secret ingredients, only secret patience. Flour, water, salt, and breath, that's all. But you must knead until your thoughts grow still. That's what makes it rise." Oren listened, and something deep inside him loosened. For years he had chased stories, trying to capture them on paper. But here, in the soft glow of the fire, he realized some stories weren't meant to be caught. They were meant to be breathed. The woman shaped the loaf, then set it near the open window. "Now we wait," she said. "The dough must listen to the stars." Together they sat in silence. Outside, the fountain murmured its endless lullaby. The wind carried the scent of rye across the square. Oren felt his eyelids grow heavy. When the old woman spoke again, her voice seemed to come from somewhere far away. "Do you hear it?" she asked. He listened. At first, only the whisper of the night, then very faintly the sound of humming. A soft, slow rhythm, older than memory. Press, fold, turn. Press, fold, turn. He opened his eyes and found the room empty. The oven glowed, but the woman was gone. On the table before him lay the finished loaf, still warm. Steam rose from it like the breath of the moon. He took a small piece and tasted it. The flavor was simple earth, salt, sweetness, warmth. Yet as he swallowed, a wave of calm washed through him, and he felt himself drifting into sleep. He dreamed of a village bathed in moonlight, of a baker with kind eyes, of a fountain singing in the square. And when he awoke, the bread was gone. Only a few crumbs remained, glowing faintly in the dawn. He left the village soon after, his mind quiet, his notebook empty. He never wrote the story down. He didn't need to. It was already written in his breath. Generations passed again. The world kept changing machines, lights, noise. Yet sometimes, when the moon hung low and full, someone would pause, somewhere, and feel it. A sudden peace in the air, a scent like warm rye and honey, drifting from nowhere. They might not know why they smiled. They might not know whose dream they'd stepped into, but they would breathe easier, and for that moment, the old rhythm would live again. Press, fold, turn. Press, fold, turn. And now, dear listener, you carry it too. The quiet art of resting, the soft patience of breath and warmth. You have walked through the village in your mind, heard the fountain's song, watched the oven glow. The story no longer needs words. It simply needs you, your calm, your stillness, your night. So, as the last embers of this tale cool, feel yourself lying in that gentle glow. The scent of moonlit rye drifting through your dreams. Everything is warm, everything is soft. Everything, at last, is home. Now, as you lie there, still and safe, allow your body to begin its slow, steady breathing. Inhale gently and exhale quietly. Feel the softness of your bed beneath you, supporting every curve and muscle. Notice how the air brushes softly against your skin, cool or warm just right. The night outside is calm. Imagine the silver light of a full moon spilling through a window, filling the room with a gentle glow like the light that touched Tomas's village long ago. You might hear the faint rustle of leaves, or the soft hum of a distant brook, or the crackle of a hearth's last embers. All these sounds mingle like a lullaby, just for you, soft, slow, steady. Let your mind drift back to that quiet village square. The stone fountain murmurs gently. The cobblestones are cool beneath your feet, and somewhere close, the baker's oven breathes warmth into the air. You can smell the bread, the moonlit rye from the oven. It's a scent of earth and sweetness and honeyed peace. It curls around you like a blanket, soft and soothing. With each breath you take, imagine that scent growing stronger, filling your lungs with calm. Inhale peace, exhale tension. Picture the baker's hands folded softly in rest, his slow rhythm still beating in the quiet air. Press, fold, turn. Press, fold, turn. Each breath you take matches that rhythm. Press, fold, turn, slow and steady. Press, fold, turn, calm and gentle. You are part of this ancient song now, the quiet rhythm of care and patience, woven into the night itself. Feel your muscles soften beginning with your toes, spreading slowly upward, softening calves, easing knees, relaxing hips and belly. Your chest rises and falls like a gentle wave, carrying you deeper into stillness. Your hands rest easily, your arms grow heavy and warm. Your neck relaxes, your jaw unclenches, your eyes feel heavy, as if touched by the softness of moonlight itself. There is nothing you need to do right now. No task or worry or thought that must be chased. Only the quiet breath, the soft hum of the night, the gentle glow of a loaf rising in an oven far away, baking dreams for you and all who sleep. Press, fold, turn, imagine the stars overhead, each one a tiny spark of calm, lighting the vast sky like candles in the dark. You are wrapped in that calm, held safe by the night's gentle embrace. If a thought drifts in, imagine it as a feather, soft, light, and floating away on a breeze, leaving you quiet and still again. Press, fold, turn, the moon moves slowly across the sky, carrying the secret song of the baker's village, traveling through time, through dreams, until it reaches you, here, now. You breathe in that song, soft and slow. You breathe out any remaining tension, any restless stirring. You are exactly where you need to be. Soon, your breath will slow even more. Your mind will float beyond words, beyond stories, to a place of warm, quiet, and soft light. A place where sleep is a gentle friend, waiting patiently to carry you away. Press, fold, turn now. As your eyes close fully, feel the last trace of wakefulness fade, like the last crumb of bread melting on your tongue. Know that the night is keeping watch. Know that the moon is baking dreams. Know that you are safe, held, and loved. Good night, dear one. Sleep well beneath the moonlit rye. Now, if you haven't already, make yourself comfortable. Lie back, close your eyes gently, and take a slow, deep breath in and out. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the softness beneath you, supported, safe, and held. The room around you is quiet, but imagine, just beyond your window. The night is alive with gentle sounds, a whispering breeze, the faint rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of a sleeping village. Each sound is soft, a lullaby carried on the wind just for you. Picture the silver light of a full moon spilling through the glass, casting gentle shadows that dance slowly on your skin. The moonlight is cool but comforting, like a quiet hand resting lightly on your shoulder. Breathe in deeply, drawing in that peaceful light, and breathe out, letting any tension melt away like warm butter on fresh bread. Now, imagine yourself stepping quietly into the village square, where the stone fountain trickles its endless song. The cobblestones beneath your feet are smooth and cool. You hear the gentle crackle of a hearth fire somewhere nearby, and the soft, steady hum of a baker working through the night. The scent of fresh bread, warm rye, touched by honey, floats through the air, wrapping around you like a soft blanket. With each breath you take, let that scent fill your lungs, filling you with calm, warmth, and rest. Focus on your breathing now, slow and steady. Press, fold, turn. Feel the rhythm in your chest, like the steady, gentle hands of the baker kneading dough. Press, fold, turn. With every breath, your body softens a little more. Your toes relax, your calves soften, your knees release any tightness. Press, fold, turn, your hips and belly loosen. Your chest rises and falls like a calm ocean wave, carrying you deeper into quiet. Press, fold, turn, your shoulders melt, your arms grow heavy and warm, your hands rest peacefully, open and still. Press, fold, turn. Your neck is loose, your jaw unclenched, your eyes are heavy, drifting closed, like petals folding at dusk. There is nothing you need to do right now, no thoughts to chase, no worries to carry. Only the soft rhythm of night, the tender glow of moonlight on warm bread, and your own slow, steady breath. Press, fold, turn. Let the rhythm become your own heartbeat, a steady anchor in the quiet sea of sleep. Imagine the stars above, each one a tiny flicker of calm and light, lining the sky like flickering candles in the darkness. You are wrapped in their gentle glow, held safe by the vast, peaceful night. If a thought drifts in, imagine it as a feather, soft, light, and floating away on a breeze, leaving you calm, still, and serene. Press, fold, turn. The moon moves slowly across the sky, carrying the secret song of the baker's village, traveling through time and dreams until it reaches you here, now. You breathe in that song soft and slow, and breathe out any remaining tension or unrest. You are exactly where you need to be. Your breath will slow even more now, your mind floating beyond words, beyond stories, to a place of warm, quiet, and soft light. A place where sleep is a gentle friend, waiting patiently to carry you away. Press, fold, turn. As your eyes close fully, feel the last trace of wakefulness fade, like the last crumb of bread melting on your tongue. Know the night is watching over you. Know the moon is baking dreams just for you. Know you are safe, held, and loved. Good night, dear one. Sleep well beneath the moonlit rye.